Hello and welcome to a City Voices interview with Richard Colón. And this is a part of a series of regular everyday people with their mental health struggles and sharing those stories with our viewers. So let's get right into it. Hi, Richard. How are you?
Hello, Dan. I'm doing well. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Thank you for including me in this project, and look forward to this conversation.
You're welcome. Let's get right into it. So my first question, the main question for you is, well, can you tell us about your mental health and addiction journey? And then like build up to where you are today. And I can give you like 15 minutes to do it.
Okay. Well, I'll start from my early childhood. I was diagnosed at the age of 10 with depression, but it went untreated until um, I was 10 years old. That was 1977. I didn't have my first episode until 1997, which was 20 years later. So for 20 years, it was untreated, the depression. And in 97, I had my first episode. And I was diagnosed at that time with catatonic paranoid schizophrenia, major depression, and chronic anxiety. That was in 97. I was admitted to a psych ward for 2 weeks. And I was subsequently discharged and went to an outpatient clinic, partial for some time, and was under care for over 20 years by just one psychiatrist. As soon as I got out the program, the hospital, I went to a particular psychiatrist who was of great support and assistance. So I had him for like 20 years until like 4 years ago or so. He was retired after the COVID situation 3 years ago, give or take. And I was able to get some other psychiatrists to care for me. And so I was doing well during that period from when I had my first episode, which was 25 years ago, give or take. I went back to school, and I was able to complete my first master's, which I had not completed prior to my first episode. And then I went and got another master's afterwards also. And I worked in different arenas, education, politics, higher education, and had a whole host of different job opportunities. And then I got connected with Access VR, who helped me get enrolled in a certified peer specialist program to get certified as a peer specialist. And 4 years ago, I completed the peer specialist program with this health organization. And I became a certified peer specialist. And also, I just wanted to share that during those 20 years prior to my first episode, I used to also self-medicate with marijuana and alcohol. I used to self-medicate by misusing marijuana and alcohol. And in December of 1995, I had a romantic relationship that went sour because of my behavior. And I, on that December of 1995 day, I just went cold turkey. I just said a quick prayer to God as best as I understood him, and said to God that I just wanted to change, and please change me. I don't want to live like this no more. And I went cold turkey. I never picked up marijuana nor alcohol from that day forward. But then I gradually started decompensating because the marijuana and alcohol, which was keeping me afloat. So from 95 December until July of 1997, I started decompensating, and that's when I had my first episode. So now 25 years forward, like I said, 4 years ago, I started working as a peer specialist. I'm a certified peer specialist provisional. I'm trying to get that provisional status done with by October of this year. And I'm also a certified recovery peer advocate. I'm no longer provisional on that one. I got the full certification. And then this past May, I got admitted to the hospital, my second episode. I was admitted for 12 days, the same hospital that I was admitted the first time in 97. So 25 years later, I've had the second episode. I was going through a lot of stressors, one of which was work-related. And I subsequently had a episode. This time I admitted myself. The first time I was admitted by my family. I couldn't even talk, and I was in no position to seek out assistance or help. This time I just was under a lot of pressure, a lot of stressors, and I called the ambulance 4 a.m. and admitted myself. I was there for 12 days. That was the May of this year, 2022. And currently I'm looking to go back to work and exploring job opportunities. This time I was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder and schizoaffective disorder. No longer am I on 10 plus medications, which I was on originally. I'm only on 2 medications now, and I continue to live drug-free in terms of illegal drugs or medication, any types of drugs to self-medicate. I just take my prescribed medication, which is only 2 now. I used to be on like 10 or 12, give or take. And I'm looking forward to returning to the workforce sooner rather than later. Like I said, I was admitted in May of this year after going on disability in March of this year. March 22nd, I went on disability after working 4 years as a peer specialist. And then on May 6th, I admitted myself to the hospital until May 18th. And now I'm just exploring employment opportunities. So that's a little bit of my history.
So 25 years is a big stretch of recovery from your first episode to your second episode. And I would just like to know, like, do you feel like a failure because you relapsed? I mean, like, what are you feeling about yourself?
No. If anything, even my psychiatrist, my current psychiatrist, this time around, it's a totally different situation. I mean, it's been a totally different. I feel so much more empowered this time around. I feel so much more aware of what's happening to some degree, not a lot, but I'm able to articulate and talk the language, so somewhat sort of like advocate for myself. I wasn't in that position the first time around. I didn't know what was going on. As I shared, I was catatonic, so I couldn't even talk, let alone advocate for myself. And so this time, when I was in the unit, the psych ward, I was able to articulate and advocate for myself with the doctors and the therapists and the social worker. Even while I was in the hospital, I was able to navigate certain, relationships with other patients or peers that at times seemed very threatening in terms of harm, but things worked out well, thank God. And then also in terms of my faith, I'm more in tune with the faith element of my recovery, which I've always wanted to incorporate. So my faith has, even though I've been somewhat like the first time around, disillusion was what has happened to some degree, and like, God, what's going on now again? But this time around, I'm more committed to not abandoning my faith, but seeing this as an opportunity to deepen my faith, not run from it, but run to it. And it has its challenges, but no, I didn't feel like I was a failure at all. In fact, if anything, even the doctors and everyone was saying they were just happy that I admitted myself and was so self-aware that I knew I needed help. Back in '97, I didn't know I needed help, and even if I did, I couldn't get help. I was catatonic. This time around, I I saw warning signs. I saw that I was about to have a breakdown of some sort, nervous breakdown or panic attack or something, and I called and admitted myself. So no failure at all.
So from your first breakdown 25 years ago, and then that long space of recovery, and then your second breakdown like 4 months ago, what have you learned about yourself?
I've learned, because I think for a long time I was saying to myself, well, I just, the first time I made some bad decisions, I made some bad choices, and that's why what happened happened. I wasn't fully accepting the fact that maybe there's some mental health uh, assistance that I need. There's some mental health and what's the word I'm looking for? Not support that I need. And this time around, I realized that I do need, emotional support. That was something that I brought up in the hospital, that I'm lacking to some degree. I have some good friends and family that's been very supportive of my circle. And you, Dan, you've been very supportive, but I don't have a large circle of friends. And I have a close friend down in North Carolina and another friend in Delaware, my sister. But, I've learned that maybe there is something to this mental health, as it relates to me. Maybe it's not just spiritual, I always thought it was just a spiritual battle. And maybe it is. I'm exploring this whole new experience this time around, and open to seeing this as more than just spiritual, and maybe there's some physical element to it that I'm not aware of that I need to get medical assistance with. But this time around, I want to get up. I want to take showers. I'm not suffering from depression. As I said, they said schizoaffective disorder and general anxiety disorder. It's been a totally different experience. I've been searching for work, and so I've learned, to be open that, yes, you have a disability. Yeah, I wasn't accepting of that for many years. I didn't. I received disability benefits. I get a disability card, but I never came to terms with previously. Maybe you do have a disability. Maybe you do need help. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's sort of taken a lot of pressure off of me and enabled me to be open to getting help, from others, which is something that is not um, um, something easy for me to do. And several months ago, I was in the hospital for some other reason, I was having some stress situations, and I remember being put in a wheelchair and taken to a room, and it felt so uncomfortable being taken to a room in a wheelchair because I've always been the one helping others. So I felt so uncomfortable being helped. It was very strange. I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't know how to allow myself to be helped by others. It felt very strange. I remember calling a friend and saying, I felt so uncomfortable today as I was being cared for in the hospital. And so now I'm allowing myself, I got friends who are coming by, help me get my apartment in order that was cluttered. And people are just reaching out, and it's something new for me. And it feels good, and allow yourself to get help, let others help you and not feel that you got to navigate this whole new journey in this process of recovery on your own, which could be a bit much sometimes.
We're almost done, Richard. I would like you to search your heart and find some words for the viewers that you maybe haven't shared yet that you would like people to come away with.
Yeah, if anything, I want people to know that, who may be suffering from some sort of mental health situation or substance misuse, alcohol misuse, reach out to someone who you truly trust, or even if even if it's not someone you could, well, I'm basically trying to say, reach out to somebody. Ideally, you want someone who you can trust, but that's not always the case. You may not know anyone. You may not have a close friendship, but just don't keep it to yourself. Just help. You're not alone. And also, it's a journey. This is not the end of your life. This is just the beginning of a new journey. As I shared, I went back to graduate school. I got a Master's of Science and a Master of Arts. I've worked in all three levels of government: Congress, State Assembly, City Council. And this is all after my first episode. So I encourage you, but please get the help you need. And don't be ashamed. Don't let the stigma, even today, in considering participating tonight or today in this conversation, I was initially hesitated. I said, you know what? This is me. This is my story. I can't hide this from anyone. Those who are going to love and embrace me will, and those who will get caught up with the stigma of it, they're not going to embrace me, and I can't do nothing about that. I just have to be true to myself, true to others, and let the chips fall where they may, and have faith that God will see me through always. So I just encourage you, not to keep this for yourself. Don't give up. Don't struggle alone. There's people out there who care, who can relate, who can understand, and you will get the love and support that you need. Don't suffer alone.